Takes with the goddamn and the wine's gone, but unfortunately the Green Party have put out their agenda. So hopefully now in the next election, before we go any further, hopefully they'll be set back into the next century, the Green Party. Because they hate Ireland. They might as well call it the Irish Party. They hate everything to do with the state. They hate everything. They hate particularly rural Ireland. They're all for the cities. They're all for the cities. Not for the only Joe and Cavan. They're not for the only Joe and Monaghan. They're not for anybody. They don't like anything. They don't like cows. They don't like people doing this. They don't like people doing that. At this stage, they'd rather you sit in the corner and say nothing and do nothing and be happy. It seems to be the Green Party's line. The same as Fianna Fáil and Fianna Fine Gael and the rest of them. But long story short, they released the manifesto. Particularly the one thing, this is really shocking, that they actually have said the quiet part out loud, the Green Party, Roderick O'Gorman, is that they're talking about work permits. So for work permits outside the European Union, not so inside the European Union, you can come here for 3 months and work if you're from Poland, Latvia or something like that, if you're in the European Union. So from outside the European Union, take for example, for argument's sake, New Zealand or Australia. Take for argument's sake, and person from Australia wants to come over here for a work permit to work in some business, maybe for 3 months, for work. Let's say for work experience, they're still getting paid, but they're here for work experience. They come for 3 months. They have to apply for that, obviously, a visa, and get a work permit to stay in Ireland for say a year. Take for example, all well and good. But long story short, Roderick O'Gorman wants to bring, say, is Johnny from Australia, take for example. Johnny from Sydney in Australia wants to come to Ireland, fair enough. He has his passport, he has everything. Great, very good, very good. But Johnny's like, well, not so much Johnny from Australia as other people from Timbuktu, etc., etc. But Johnny from Australia is like, you know what? I bring my wife. And then I bring my mother, I bring my father, I bring my grandfather. So Roderick O'Gorman suggests that we bring the whole family with him to Ireland and they stay here for good. But this is the thing I say to Roderick O'Gorman, the Green Party should probably put in the manifesto. What about the Irish woman, the Irish man, who is forced to leave this country to go to work in Australia, to other countries? What about Paddy? What about Mary? What about them? Not so much for other people from Timbuktu that we know nothing about that's coming here to work and saying they're so important for the HSE. There's so many Irish people who are qualified nurses, qualified doctors, having to leave because they can't afford to buy a house, they can't afford to do anything. And they're going off to Australia. The best of the best is going off to Australia and leaving. There's no such thing as the Green Party saying we're going to try and keep Irish people at home, where they really should be in the home country where they grew up, where their families lived for generations. We're not going to do that. We're going to bring in John from Timbuktu that has no history in Ireland, etc., etc. Take for example, I'm not saying people are entitled to come here to work here for a while if they wish to, of course. But it's the fact of the matter, the Green Party suggesting that everybody from their family can come with them, along with them. And again, it can be abused in 100 million ways. As we know at the moment, the amount of people who come from Algeria, particularly, and Nigeria and other countries that are outside the European Union, even Albania too. There's so many people coming here from them countries, so it will be abused in 100 million ways if the Green Party gets in, because the Green Party just want to bring everybody in nearly at this stage. And the other thing I have the biggest issue with, obviously the Green Party want about the environment, etc., etc., and obviously it's important, the environment, of course. But this is the thing, you think the Green Party be saying, we're going to make China do some changes, we're going to stand up to China and say to China, because it's China or India are the biggest polluters in the world. You think Roderick O'Gorman would be saying, we're going to go to the ambassador to India and the ambassador to China, we're going to demand that they do action on climate change, because you know what the ambassadors are telling them to do, go fuck off and go home. You know, that's more or less what they're telling them to do, because they won't listen to the gumbeans. But this is the thing, why should Ireland bend over backwards? And again, this is the thing, Ireland only, even if we turned the whole country upside down and banned all cows off the road, it would only make probably barely 1% difference in the whole world when it comes to climate change, etc., etc. Because the biggest polluters are in China, in India, in Asia. Why should Ireland bend over backwards, a small country like us, with hundreds of millions of people in China being powered by coal power plants, etc., etc.? And it's only the truth. Why should a small country take on a huge task like this and turn everybody? And again, this is the destroyed rural Ireland, the Green Party. They wanted to send people to prison for burning tough, old women and men to prison for burning tough. Why Big Data centres in Dublin get off with murder, like here losing the electricity of a whole country, and they don't pay any tax here. But again, they wanted to send Paddy and Mary to prison for burning a bit of tough. That's the Green Party. That's the Green Party nowadays. And the only people who vote the Green Party are the people in the cities, people, college students, that don't know the willy they're asked from the Melbourne. And let's be fair on that. And I'm all about the environment, I'm sure you know. I'm all about keeping places tidy, etc., etc. I'm all for that. More than anybody in the world. No other politician in Cavan, no other political activist in Cavan could come out and say that, because it's the truth. All of them would agree. I have a huge record in making sure the place is tidy, litter free, etc., etc. Huge record, and I don't mean to gloat, but again, I could write the book on it, to be totally honest. But this is the thing. It makes no difference if all countries don't do collectively. I know that's a World Economic Forum term, but collectively do it. But the other issue I have, this is the biggest issue now, is the Green Party wants to lower the age of voting from 18 to 16. Now, the issue I have, and a few years ago I would have been all for it, but this is the issue, and particularly for Sinn Féin and the Green Party, etc., etc. They promised the moon out on stars to the young people, and back in the day I would have believed them too, that we will get you a house, we do this, we do that, we're going to do that, do the other. But at the end of the day, they try and use people's naivety, and particularly when you're young, you could be led down the garden path, misled, etc., etc., by bad actors. And it's the truth. We have to be honest. When you get to my age, when 20, 21, you start thinking, you see the world differently, and especially myself, I've seen the world differently in the last few years. I suppose that's what that way. You take more note of what's happening around you. Take more note. What they're relying on is people to be stupid, basically, to just not ask any questions. They don't want somebody like me because I'd be asked too many questions. And they don't want that. They want people to be mindless drones that just say, vote this person, Green Party, vote him, vote Fine Gael, vote Fine Paul. Ask no questions, say nothing, just vote. His vote can't go on. Say nothing. They don't want people asking questions. The same in this country with immigration. They don't want you asking any questions. They just want you to vote, shut up, sit down, say nothing, far right, extremist, etc., etc. That's what they use to shut people down. But this is the thing, the Green Party have destroyed rural Ireland, and we have to be honest with that. People, I know elderly people, the only source of heating in their houses is a coal fire, etc., etc. And it's not fair, and then the petrol too. Take, for example, I know so many young people who are doing the driving test, etc., trying to get their first cars. How in the name of God, explain to me, Eamon Ryan, if Eamon Ryan's not there now, technically, but he can get his bicycle shed, and his bike can go somewhere else. He can go to China and stay in China if he wants to, or somewhere else. But tell me this, Rodrigo Gorman, how can a young person, because again in the next 30 years there'll be no such thing as a petrol car or diesel car, it'll be all electric cars. But tell me this, Rodrigo Gorman, how can a young person coming out of college, first of all, buy an electric car? Explain that to me. What in what reality? Because people can barely afford to pay the rent, let alone buy a car or pay off a car, etc., etc. So the Green Party are not for the Irish people. They might be called the Irish Party. The rural party too. That's what they might call themselves. Because they're all right for the cities. They're all for the cities. That's what the majority of the Green Party are. Sitting up there in the champagne socialist, sucking the champagne socialism. But they're not, in the country, they have to face reality. It's reality. They have to live in reality because Eamon Ryan's too busy up in the clouds. And that's what the Green Party are. Too busy up in the clouds. Not seeing reality. They can't see what's in front of them. They choose not to see what's in front of them, to be totally honest. So the Green Party have nothing to offer anybody. They're good for nothing, to be totally honest. They wouldn't do a day's work if their life depended on it. The Green Party, I've never seen one person from the Green Party in Cavan lift up a bit of paper. They'd be that afraid of getting a job, or they'd be that afraid of doing a bit of hard work that they'll probably fall over. But it's just the truth. I've never seen any of them. They all talk about, let's do this, we're going to do that, but if there's a bit of rubbish on the ground at 1 mile, they would out clean it up. And it's just the simple truth, and it's the state of a fact, and that's what my opinion is too, because I've seen it hundreds of times. They're good for the talk, but when it comes to action, they're no good at that. But it's just a fact. But the Green Party, and I say to anybody in Cavan, in Monaghan, or any place, think about it. Again, it's up to you at the end. If you wish to vote Green Party, so be it. It's entirely up to you. That's what democracy is all about. But I would ask you to listen to what I said there. And not even that. Think back on what they did with the turf. And think back what they did with the coal, elderly people, etc., etc. And to be totally honest, the Eamon Ryan nearly wanted them to freeze in the house. To be totally honest. And that's literally what they wanted to do. And the same with anything else. And only for probably, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael giving out. That, they lose a lot of votes. And so they would have went down that line. But not even that. There's other things the Green Party have done. They hate everything. They don't like anything. They want you to own nothing and be happy, basically. That seems to be the line of the Green Party, the majority of parties in Dáil Éireann too. But particularly the Green Party. But Eamon Ryan has destroyed this country. He's more money for bicycle lanes than he does for the roads. So he's all about the bicycles, but he's not for the cars or anything like that. So he expects people to cycle from fucking Timbuktu. Take, for example, Cavan. What hope is there for a man in Cavan that's trying to get to work a mile away in Dublin, take, for example? If he's in the rural area of Cavan, is he supposed to cycle his bike all the way up to Dublin and then come back in the evenings? Eamon Ryan can barely cycle down the road past Letz's house without getting into a car. But it's quite insane. Like I would be voting. No, that's the nicest way to put them. But the Green Party, I'm nothing to offer anybody in this state. Thank you.